gather round your town when things are on the up or things are falling down. Celebrate the hard times, stay passionate through the lows, find strength in the chaos, no matter which way it goes. It's not easy being blue. Heartbreak comes in many ways, the hardest times, the darkest days, but all these things get washed away with us, with us. The highs might not come every day, but memories do, and memories stay. Enjoy that moment anyway with us, with us, with us. It's not easy being blue. It's not easy being blue.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this Monday's Monday assessment by the View from the Medway Fancast in partnership with the Gillingham FC Supporters Club and sponsored by Snodhurst Used Car Sales and Service Station. We will, of course, be talking about two games today. We will be talking about Friday's trip to Wadham Road to face Cheltenham and today's 1-0 win against AFC Wimbledon. It's been a bit of a rough day today, finishing the game and trying to get home to do these graphics. So there is a numerical mistake in the graphics this evening. As you can see, we are playing tomorrow, apparently. But we were definitely playing on the 21st. So I will bring the boys in tonight, and they've gone back to front again. So I am joined by Mike. I am joined by a debutant this evening in Rob and co-host David. So, boys, how are we? I will start with you, Mike. And how's your week been?
It's been all right, yeah. Been very good. Of course, watching a couple of games gets the old blood pumping, doesn't it? And just a decent Easter weekend.
Yes.
No more to say on that.
And as everyone can see, that Warren is missing this evening, so there will not be a 20-minute discussion about hard pitches with Mike. So, Rob, welcome to the show, mate. Thank you for coming on. How's your week been, mate?
Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah, it's been good. Easter weekend is always great, isn't it? Full of football. Comes thick and fast, doesn't it? And we all love that. So yeah, all in all, very good. Yeah,
that's
thank
it,
you.
mate. And Mr. David, how are you? I only saw you like 2 hours ago, so I'm guessing you're okay since.
Yeah, no, all okay. Mike's working now. Had a bit of a panic just before we came on, but no, it's been.
He's not talking about me, by the way.
No, it's been good. Kids go back to school tomorrow. Excellent news. Yeah, chocolate, football, can't complain.
That's it, boys. So we are just going to quickly jump straight to the Cheltenham game. This evening, there will be no facts about other teams. For the Cheltenham game, there will literally just be this and Phil's thoughts with it. So sue me. So Mike, we'll go with you, mate, and your overview on Friday's away trip to Cheltenham.
Yeah, I mean, like when you look at these sort of like the shot stats and everything like that, it kind of flatters to deceive in a way, doesn't it? It was a very, very difficult game. Going there and getting a point, is okay. Looking at the fouls that we committed, we kicked the shit out of them, really, didn't we? we gave them a bit of a kicking, but I'm happy with that. And to go there, get a point against the team that's near us, really. I can't have any grumbles about that whatsoever. I mean, the free kick that led to our goal, very well worked. Holton was very nervy. I think that was very apparent. I think Sam Gale, the header that he had. I mean, it's hard to tell from the angle from the replay if that was actually handball. I don't think anyone was going for a foul there. I think they were all calling for the handball. It's hard to tell whether that was actually the case. But if it wasn't, and it was a perfectly good goal, he was very aggrieved, wasn't he? When you see his reaction, he belongs in a drama or something, like Shakespearean drama, with the reaction that he had to that one. But it was it wasn't one for the purists or anything like that. But it's good to come away with the point.
It definitely is. It definitely is. And yeah, Rob, I'll go with you, mate, in your overall thoughts on Friday's game.
Yeah, I think it was your typical League Two game, to be honest. It was very physical. It was a lot of ball in the air. It was. I think we started really well. I think we started really brightly. First 5 minutes, couldn't believe what I was watching. We played some decent football, scored a good goal. I don't know what happened after that. Like I said, it just became a typical League Two game. Look, you take the point all day long. I think the season we've had, a point away from home, I think you take it.
Yeah, and David.
Yeah, I think Mike and Rob have summed it up pretty well, which was it was pretty drab after the first 5 to 10 minutes, and I think at this stage of the season, you take your point, you take your positives. So it was a really good goal, good free kick by Nolan, good finish by Morgan, which shows his path. Being hypercritical, Holton was probably at fault for the goal, in my opinion. It's not something that I'm going to hold against him. He's a young lad, and the marking didn't look great either. But all in all, this stage of the season, it kind of is what it is, that game. And I think we move on to today's game, the better that one.
That's the thing, though. Like with getting a point away from home when Holton was in goal, being as nervy as he was, like when you put it into that kind of perspective, it's a good point. It's a good point away from home.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And I wasn't there. I watched it on telly, but I've spoken to a few people today when I was in the Cricketers, and we had a conversation about goalkeepers. And like goalkeepers don't tend to like hit their prime years until they're way into their 20s. Like the boy is 19 years old.
Yeah.
Yes, he should do better, 100%. And they said, a few of them that I was with that were at the game, and they said, like, he was getting dogs abuse from people, which I don't find fair, because what is he, 19, 20 years old? Yes, he's made the mistake, but if Sam Gale would actually been in the position that he should be in, then maybe that mistake wouldn't have happened in the first place. So we do have to give him a little bit of credit, like he had a really easy game against MK Dons.
Yes.
And then he's, first half, he's kicking towards the town end. He's got the Rainer men behind him. He's got everyone behind him. Second half, he's got no one behind him. With this game, first half, like he's got the home fans behind him. Second half, he's got them giving him dogs abuse with his goal kick, saying, "Oh, you're shit," all that kind of thing. So I think, yes, he made the mistake. Yes, he should have done better. But if we put it into perspective and the mitigating circumstances behind that, then we definitely need to like get off his back a little bit. A certain degree of fans do anyway, because I've seen some stuff on social media this weekend. Don't agree with it. Yes, he should have saved it, but to call him out on it, I just think it's totally wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Like he's 19 years old, as you've pointed out. The thing is, like, with the games that he's played up until now, like, the games for Chatham and everything like that. The thing is, like, the mistakes that he made in those games, because he did make mistakes when he was at Chatham, they're not as amplified as what they are when he's like, playing for the first team of Gillingham. They're not amplified at all. And unfortunately, like, and this is the case with every fan base across the country, doesn't matter what club you are or anything like that, is that there will be people whose frustrations, they cannot control them, and they will say the first thing that comes into their minds, and it's it's not right, but it's how they deal with things. And I've, rather than sort of argue against it and clap back at these people kind of thing, I just think you just have your say. I don't agree with it, but we move on. Yeah, very much so.
Were you surprised that he was taken out of the team today?
What, with Morris becoming available?
Yeah, with the fact that we've technically got nothing to play for, would you have given him the last 3 games, or do you reckon you might see him again?
No, I think Morris coming back into the side, I think is good. It can only be a good thing, because you got loads of people coming into Priestfield to watch the game. Like one of those like high attendances that we've had. I think after the last game, I think Holton's confidence may have been shaken a little, and I don't think it would have been fair to sort of stick him in against an AFC Wimbledon team who are chasing playoffs at the very least, because they've got something to play for. And if he was on the end of a smashing, because we didn't know how this game was going to go today, beforehand.
Yeah,
you don't want to smash a 19-year-old's confidence, going up against a team that's chasing promotion.
But then could you not caveat that, Rob, with you drop him after he's made a mistake? Could it then not knock his confidence a little bit more?
Yeah, I think it can. It can go both ways, can't it? I mean, the Cheltenham game was very physical, and I think he struggled with the physicality of that. The balls into the box, the centre forwards leaning on him at corners. I think he struggled with that. And you look at Wimbledon, and they're another very physical side. So keeping him in, you'd have gone through the same thing again. Would that have helped him? Maybe, maybe not. But pulling him out, is that sending the right message? I'm not sure. But I think if Morris is fit, Morris has to play. And I think it's that simple, really. I don't think there's an alternative to that.
But then you could say, Dave, I think that we need a real good look at the goalkeeping situation in the summer, David, where, I love Glenn. I absolutely appreciate what he's done for the club. He's a brilliant goalkeeper at his age still. But practically, you can't. He's going to be 42 at the end of the season, I believe, somewhere along there. You can't practically keep him as number one going into another season, especially when you've got this 2-year plan that they keep talking about. So I feel that him and Tate need to be second and third, and we really need to look at that goalkeeper position and grab, names out of the sky that I've got, like Sam Walker at Bradford, Jamal Blackman at Shrewsbury, right? They are proper solid goalkeepers that would do a really good job and command their area. They're big, they're strong, they know what they're doing. I'm not saying that Glenn doesn't, but they're young as well. Like, okay, Sam Walker's like 34, but he's still young for a goalkeeper. So, yeah, David, I'm going to stop rambling on. Do you think that we need to address that in the summer?
I think it's something we need to look at. Do I think we will? I don't. I think next year they will stick with Morris, and I think they will try and sign a backup, because at this level, there's not many better than Morris. If you take his age out of the equation, he very rarely makes a mistake. To be fair, he very rarely misses games. I know he's just missed a couple. But at this level, I think you just need a steady goalkeeper. And I think that's what we've got with Morris. But then if they did go and sign a new goalkeeper, I wouldn't be offended by it. But I think their priorities are going to be elsewhere. And I think personally, Morris will be in goal first game next season. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So anything else to talk about on Cheltenham, boys, before we get Phil's Faults? We've got 2 Phil's Faults this evening, which is a blessing in itself. So anything else on Cheltenham before we quickly move on?
No, the pitch was fine, mate.
Oh, God. You and your bloody pitches, I swear to God. So we will quickly play JJ Morgan's goal. And Phil's Faults from that game.
Well, it was another frustrating day at the office. I seem to have said that a lot this season. It's a game that we should have won. I seem to have said that a lot this season. It's a game where we've had some bad...
Oh, Jesus, hold on.
I said that a lot this season. Things should have gone our way, and I've said that a lot this season. It is so frustrating. But there is one thing that I will also say that I've said a lot this season. Up the Gills.
And up the Gills indeed. So, boys, we will go on to the starting lineups from today. So, Glenn Morrison goal, we had a back 5 of Max Clark, Shadowgi, Connor Masterson, Sam Gale and Romeo Hutton. We then had a midfield two, as I saw it, as Bradley Dack and McKenzie, and then a top three of Aaron Rowe, Ollie Hawkins, and Johnny Williams. The bench was Tate Holton, Nelson Kambeni, Jaden Clark, Jack Nolan, Joe Bode, Elliot Nevitt, and JJ Morgan. So I've done it this way because this is how I felt it looked at the time. Obviously, it didn't. So, David, I'll go with you first and what you thought it was, the actual lineup was, and your thoughts on it.
I quite like the lineup. I said for me, it looked like Williams was probably where Dak was, and Dak looked more of a 10 with Rowe and Hawkins up front.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, it looks like he's very settled with this back five, but does seem a bit more flexible with it. At times, it moves into a 4, and Hutton moves forward, and I quite like that. Obviously, I'm not a big Ollie Hawkins fan, so when he went off, it for me, it wasn't the end of the world. I just think when he's in the team, I just feel like we go back to what we know, and unfortunately, with Hawkins, doesn't really stick that often. His flicks don't really go nowhere. So I actually think that the sub actually helped us more than it helped them, because I'm sure their defenders would have seen the size of Hawkins and think, oh, we're in for a game here. But yeah, didn't really turn out that way. And you can kind of see now, I think I mentioned it last time I was on it, he seems to be phasing the lone players out now. Yeah. Only Morgan was in the squad this time, and I think that's purely due to the lack of goals that have been in the team that they've kind of kept him in. I don't see there being many changes unless he can kind of get Ethan Coleman fit to get him a game over the last two. I don't think there's going to be much changing from this. Maybe just the forward may change every so often, but I'd like to think the majority of the team now will be what it will be.
Yeah, I think Rob, I think he has kind of nailed down, I guess, what he thinks. I mean, yeah, he's still experimenting with players, but I feel that, not saying that all of these players are going to be there next season, but I think that back five definitely is nailed down, Rob. And with everyone else on the bench and players out of contract like Ollie Hawkins, feel sorry for him because he came off with an injured hand. But yeah, what was your overall thoughts on the 11 when it came out at 2:00?
Yeah, I think the back five and the keeper speaks for itself. I don't see how you can change that any more than what it is, really. Like, there's not really that many alternatives. The attacking options we have in our squad is unbelievable, really. When you look at the bench, Clark, Nolan, Bode, Nevitt, there's so many options there. Obviously,
that's all there is.
we're all aware this season none of them have been able to find the back of the net, and that's been the problem. But Hawkins for me isn't the answer. Like, every time I see Hawkins in the starting lineup, I'm not really sure what's going on. As much as Nevitt hasn't scored goals this season, I think he brings more to the team all round. And Bode in the wide position, like that pace, Rowe and Bode on the wings, for me, if both fully fit and firing, that is a threat. So I was happy with the lineup. I think it was quite a attacking lineup. To me, he was going for it a bit today. But there are still a few that I would change, me personally. Yeah,
Mike, yourself, mate. Obviously, I chucked this together last minute, so again, sue me. But what were your thoughts on today's lineup?
Yeah, I mean, as the other guys have said, like Hawkins on his own up front, I've never seen a single game where that's been productive. I think, Hawkins, when he comes into a game that's physical, then I do see the benefits, because he has changed some games, being a bit physical and drawing centre backs out of it and everything like that, and it turns into a bit of a wrestle. I mean, again, when we look at the bench, like, all we've got is attacking options apart from maybe Kambeni, but it's the back five. I mean, they're not doing anything wrong at the moment. They're keeping clean sheets. They're keeping the scores down. They're pretty solid. I mean, although Max Clark has improved since New Year, I think the last couple of games he's sort of regressed a bit, where he's gone back into that sort of predictable pattern of receiving the ball, putting on his left foot, and then putting the ball down the line, whether anybody's down there or not. And I find that incredibly frustrating. That he's not really sort of looking up and seeing if anybody's there before he's trying to do it. Mm-hmm. I mean, the only thing is that with the midfield that we had and the pressing game that Wimbledon were trying to do with us, I don't think their backline really felt threatened by us. I think they were able to sort of press quite well because they knew that nobody that we had was going to run through them, especially not Hawkins. He wasn't going to chase any long balls, was he? Although he didn't have much of a chance to do so. But I don't think they felt threatened that people were going to get in behind with that kind of that front line.
Yeah. No, and it was quite a shame to see Hawkins come off early. I spoke to him after the game outside the factory, and he had his fingers taped up, and he was walking up with Daki. Wished Dak well. Said I think he had a brilliant game personally. And Hawkins said it's his hand, and I went, "Oh, good stuff." And and you're like, probably not, because we might not see you again till the end of the season, but. Earlier on in the season, didn't he break his arm and he was still playing when we were playing against Donny? Yeah, Donny away. So hopefully we can see him. But greatest respect. I as Rob said, I can't see him being an answer for us. He's become more of he used to be a mobile target man. And then he joined us. Don't get me wrong, it's probably because of his advancing years, but he used to be a mobile target man, whereas now he's just a bit more of a target man, which is okay if you're playing in a system that allows for that. But I don't think we play to his strengths at times. But that's just my opinion. Everyone's entitled to them. So we will move on to the game itself, I guess. And our beautiful green strip, which has caused somewhat of an uproar on social media this weekend. And Warren has kindly put broccoli rules tonight on the show.
Gammon and broccoli, mate.
So before we get into the game, boys, I just want to get everyone's opinion on this, because from what I can gather, it was because their home kit's blue, our home kit's blue, their away kit's white, our shorts are white, with a hint of blue, hint of white on the sleeves. Their second kit is blue and black. So there was a clash there. I mean, you could say that we could wear the yellow, but does it really pave way when we played in it a couple of days ago? Because we aren't a Premier League team that get new kits every single minute of the day. So it could just be a case of the yellow kit was still in the wash. Like, it could be. But I personally, Mike, for me, I don't have an issue with it because it's just it's just a shirt, it's just a kit. What are your thoughts on it, mate?
Yeah, I'm very much of the same opinion. I think it's a lot of furore over nothing. I know, like, people are like, we're at home, we should be wearing the home shirt. Sometimes like these colour clashes will happen. At the end of the day, it's not like the 1990s when Man United were wearing that telly interference shirt, where they said they couldn't see each other. It's nothing like that.
Yeah.
So it's, and I know some people have said, they should have worn one of our strips. I'll tell you something, I wouldn't want any AFC Wimbledon player playing in our strip just to make amends kind of thing. No. But it was much ado about nothing really. It's a nothing issue. I was all right with it.
Yeah. We have got the date right on this slide. It was just the first one. So Rob, your thoughts on the strip, and did it really bother you?
No, not at all. For me, a kit is a kit, but I think Wimbledon need to look at it next season and just have a kit that's slightly different for occasions like this. But no, it doesn't matter. It's a game of football, 90 minutes. Doesn't really matter what colour you're wearing, does it?
That's it. And David, yourself?
Yeah, it's not something that's bothered me. I said I was at the Millwall game many years ago when we didn't even turn up and our kit didn't arrive and we had to wear a green Millwall kit.
When that Iffy and Aura, when he had to fit into like a top 3 sizes too small for him.
Uchu.
I remember Marlon. I think Marlon King scored. We won actually, but yeah, it's not something that bothers me. I think it's something the league should probably look at more than anything. That if a team have got 3 kits and they can't wear any of them because they're clashing with another team, I feel like they should look at it more, because I said we're not the only team in the league that play with a blue shirt and white sleeves. Like, they must have played Carlisle, who I think have got blue and white, and they would have had the issue against them. So maybe the league should look at it that maybe your 3rd kit has to be a bit crazy, just so that you can actually wear a kit, because it doesn't feel right that the home team wear the away kit, but it is what it is, really.
But then I think last weekend Swindon was the same when they played Bradford, and what a game that was, by the way, bloody hell. But yeah, I just get the feeling that it doesn't matter, but I can understand why people would be annoyed with it. It is, at the end of the day, we're Gillingham, like, you know, our fan base is very loyal. It's very, you know, we're at home, we should wear blue. But at the end of the day, we won. Maybe we should wear green more often, to be quite honest with you. But we will touch on the game anyway, boys. So Rob, what were your overall thoughts of the game itself, mate?
I think it was a very, very impressive team performance. I think to a man, they fought for every ball. It was a very physical game, and I think sometimes in the past maybe we've been rolled over a little bit, been bullied. I think they stuck at it today. I think every aerial challenge they were up for, 50-50s. I see Johnny Williams got stuck into a few, and I've been a bit critical of Johnny Williams this year, pulling out of challenges, scared to get hurt. Dak's the same. Dak's been the same at times this season. So it's nice to see them getting stuck in and showing a bit of passion. I think that's come from the manager. You know, you see the manager on the touchline, he's non-stop. He's waving his hands, he's pointing, he's clapping, you know, that encouragement, that energy. I think it's starting to feed onto the pitch, and I think we're seeing the results of that. It's always nice to get 3 points, and for me, like I said, it was a good team performance.
Yeah, and David, I'll go with you, mate, and your overall thoughts of the game. I think Rob's right in the respect. It was a great team performance. Everyone got stuck in. I was walking back to the car with Joe and Phil, and I just said, like, it feels like a Gillingham of old performance in the respect that everyone was getting stuck in rather than, you know, scared to go for the ball. It just felt like a real good overall team performance, mate, didn't it?
It did, yeah. And it's just nice going to a game not thinking, we're probably going to lose today. It's that feeling's come back now where you feel, well, I personally feel like you're going to a game thinking that we've got a chance of something, whether that's a point or 3, and not just turning up waiting for the inevitable, which it felt like at the start of the season. And I thought they were brilliant today, actually, because Wimbledon are a good side, physical side as well. They were a big old side. I've never seen one of their centre forwards looked like a centre half. He was absolutely huge guy. And I thought, the 3 centre backs all did their job. I think, was it Shad made one mistake where I think Masterson came round and covered him. But other than that, I just felt like, that we were competing for everything. Like Rob said, Johnny Williams getting stuck in. I thought Aaron Rowe, was brilliant today as well. It's just nice to see him fit and offering you that real bit of pace. I haven't seen the electric pace that I felt that we were going to see, but maybe in this formation and where they've kind of playing, and we're not going to see that. And again, from my seat, we should have had a penalty as well. The challenge on Masterson was, how the ref didn't give that one. But again, really nice goal. Dak's movement showed his class. Really good finish from Bode as well. And even like small details, it was refreshing that Ainsworth brought Nevitt on when he could easily have brought Quembene on and tried to shore things up. But no, he thought, I'm going to bring an attacking player on and keep going. And again, it's not a huge thing, but it's just something that I was like, that's quite cool. Because managers in the past, managers in the past, we've had 3 this season, would easily just bring a defender on or bring a midfield player on, shore it up and just try and cling on for dear life. But No, I just really refreshing considering where they are in the league, and obviously the run we've been on to change a D into a W is nice.
Yeah, because we know that David loves a D.
Exactly.
So, Mike, yeah, your overview on the game. I do want to just quickly just say that, okay, yeah, we can put a lot of credit on Daki for that goal, put a hell of a lot of credit on Joe Bode, but it was the run from Romeo Hutton to begin with that really set it up, mate, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take nothing away from Hutton. From basically skinning the first man to cutting it in, having that vision to see Daki peeling away from his man, and picking him out because the corridor to get to that wasn't that big.
Yeah.
And for him to find that, I'd take nothing away from him for that one. But I mean, in terms of like the game, I mean, in the first half, I did feel like there was no denying the commitment to the challenges and things like that, but I did feel like there were times where we could have been a bit stronger. I felt, what you're getting with a Wimbledon side. You're going to get that physicality. You know that they're going to press you, and we couldn't string two passes together without that pressure, bearing down on us kind of thing. And I did feel that with some of those challenges that came in, we needed to be a little bit stronger on the ball in the first half. I'm pleased to say that in the second half, we did exactly that. I think we came out. I think we bossed the game a bit more. We managed to sort of put a bit more strength into getting hold of the ball, holding on to the ball, and picking out your next man kind of thing. It was by no means like an immaculate display, but I think somebody on Twitter said that it was that is what our identity is. Blue Brazil on Twitter said that this is what our identity is, and that is exactly what it is. When we turn up and we're at home, we should be absolutely giving it the physical display. We should be giving it giving them things to think about, and not let them think that they can come here and start throwing their weight around and then they're going to walk away with the 3 points. That was exactly what our identity was. We fought for it. We got our just rewards out of it as well. And the defensive line, I mean, you can't fault them. You can't fault them at all.
No. And do you know what? This is an identity that I like. Everyone going for the ball, everyone trying, everyone digging in when things aren't going quite right, but then flourishing when things do go right. This is what Gills is about. Today's performance, it wasn't great. It was just Gillingham. It was what I've always grown up knowing what a Gillingham team is in that respect. Because it was every man getting involved, every man doing this, and it was just absolutely brilliant to watch. Absolutely brilliant to watch. And Joe Bode got his goal. When he got the ball, I was like, Christ's sake, he's going to sky this. I know I was, and I mean no disrespect to Joe, but shooting boots haven't exactly been the norm for him. The only goal he has got was against Notts County, and it was a header. So for me, it was just a bit like, oh God, here we go. And then when he put it in the net, it was just the elation, man. And them in the corner dancing to the and it was just that. Yeah,
it was Max Clark standing behind him.
Max can't wait patiently.
Yeah, he didn't want to do anything.
He's like, this ain't my thing. I'll just wait for them to finish, and then I'll get involved.
You got Chad, Aaron, you've got bloody, and they're all like.
In the original video, who was the player in the background of the video? Was it Max Clark?
What video?
You know the video that got released? Because the dancing, I swear the dance.
No. So the one that I did the Macarena version, didn't I?
Yeah, was it not the dance?
You had Aaron Rowe, Nelson Kambeni, Joe Bode, and Shadogi.
Yeah, there was a player in the background, wasn't there?
That was Romeo Hutton.
I didn't know if that was Max Clark, and that's why he kind of hovered in the background awkwardly. But no, he clearly just didn't want to dance.
that was
Max thought he'd
wrong.
probably spoil it. With some
Yeah,
dad
like,
moves.
it's like that. It's almost like he's like that with his phone. Like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
But no, it's good that they. Yeah, it's almost as if they are practicing it. But they should have played the Macarena. I'm really disappointed that they didn't play the Macarena when that goal went in, because I took a lot of time and effort to make that video. So yeah. Anyway, cheers, Joe. So we will just have a look at his goal before we move on to our man of the matches, boys. So lovely touch by Dak. Boom! There we go. He's one of our own, Mr. Joe Bode.
I mean, I've got to put my hands up on this bit, right? Because in the group chat, and loads of Jules fans will know about this. There's a WhatsApp group chat, and when Bode came on for Ollie Hawkins, and I'm going to be fully transparent here. I said, Bode going up front on his own, it doesn't fill me full of confidence, and I hope this ages like milk. And then when he scored, I just put milk's off, lads.
Yeah.
And I was more than happy to say that. Happy to say that.
Oh, that honestly, I've been quite critical of him lately. Not massively, like with other players, but I feel that sometimes we get swept away with the fact that he's one of our own, and he doesn't necessarily deliver a lot at times. But I do think that just that goal alone today, that he was really good. So, David, I will start with you, mate, as soon as we're talking about Joe Bode, and your reasons as to why.
Yeah, I thought overall he had a really good game. The centre halves were, again, big old units. He's a young lad, and he just chased everything down. In the words of Ainsworth, he emptied the tank. He everywhere, scored the goal. And the only criticism, and the one thing I'd love to see him work on, is just if this is where we're going to play him, because again, I think 99% of Gills fans want to see him out on the wing, which is where I would want to see him out on the wing. But if this is where they're going to play him, he's going to need to work on keeping the ball and holding the ball when the ball's played into him, because it does at the moment bounce off of him a bit. And again, it could be an age thing. It could be anything, but that's the one area I would like to see him work on. I just thought his work rate was really good, and he just took his goal really well. It was in a game where you can tell here we've got 4 different players. So in a game where lots of players played well, it was difficult to pick one. Again, Johnny Williams would have been my second one, but I just thought overall I thought it was really, really good game against really, again, the Mr. Tight Shorts for Wimbledon. So bizarre.
Wow. You were fixated on that, yeah?
That's because David likes the D.
It was just so bizarre. It was literally like old school 80s shorts.
He reminded me of an 80s centre half, like tight shorts, high up, sleeves up, like with a mullet as well. And he just, what was his name?
Like he definitely needed a large, but he was like, I'm going to wear a small. And he did. He wanted to be that guy.
Green shirt, I'm wearing small.
Yeah. I just think they're big old centre halves, and I think he did a really good job. And again, hopefully the goal will do him the world of good, and hopefully in the next couple of games he'll get another one to finish off the season.
I do think that Gareth Ainsworth really rates him, to be fair. As I mean, a lot of what Mark Bonner did wasn't great, but I think that one thing he did do well is bring Joe into the fold. And actually give the fans an opportunity to see what Joe was about. So, it's probably one of the only things I can really thank Mark Bonner for. But, that is definitely one of them. So, Rob, Sam Gale and why?
I think, again, today's performance, it all starts with a solid back five. And I think for me, at the heart of that back five was Gale, and his physicality, his passion, his drive. It's endless. It doesn't matter how the game's going. He doesn't drop his head. He keeps going. He works hard. And I watched him today do what I haven't seen a G in the winger do all season. He drove down the line, and that balled in was superb. The only thing missing from that balled in was someone getting on the end of it. And for me, he epitomises everything that was good about Gillingham today.
Do you think he's got something in his contract where he has to do a run down the wing? Because
it's enjoyable, isn't it?
Yeah.
You get an extra 50 quid a game if you actually go down the wing. He does it every game. Like,
he does it every single game.
It's almost as if he sits there, isn't it? And he's just like, I'm getting bored. I just feel like having to run forward.
And I think it's only a matter of time till he scores, because he's getting closer every week, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
well, he did score a legitimate. He did score a legitimate goal on Friday, but that's by the by, because apparently the referee that's supposed to be a Premier League referee was absolutely dog shite.
Yeah.
So
great.
Yeah.
There's a shot. There's a shot.
But yeah, so
he hasn't got VAR to fall back on. They can't do it. They bottle it.
I'll go with you and Daki, mate, and your reason why.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really difficult one for me. I saw the contribution from Johnny Williams. I was like tossing that up as a close second. I mean, Sam Gale, the thing is, like, he's involved in quite a lot attacking wise, like at the moment, which is great to see. And when he's on the ball, you feel like something could happen with him. But Daki showed like some elements of class. The reason why we've brought him here, he showed quite a fair bit of footballing IQ as well. Peeling away from his man for the assist as well, rather than going for glory, was absolutely the right thing to do. And I think he was. Every time he had the ball, he looked like he wanted something to happen. He wanted to drive something forwards, rather than the when we were under Bonner, where it would just sort of like we would go forwards, like run into a corner, and then think, we're going to pass it all the way back again, and then start all over again. But I think Daki showed in his time on the pitch that this is the reason why we've brought him back. The last games that we've had with him have been pretty decent, and he's starting. I'm not saying that he has, but I think he's starting to put forward a case for being here next year.
I bloody hope so. We've literally got 2 games left, so I think if the price was right with Dak, I'd probably keep him. If he loves the club that much, then I would keep him. I would like to see him start more games, because he's only started a few this season. But I think if we can keep him fit, if we can keep him going, then I will stand by what I said at the start of the season. As much as he's frustrated me this season, and as much as the ball pit TikTok bloody thing with Olivia Atwood has done my head in, but he scored a couple of days later. So as long as he's playing football and as long as he's contributing, I don't care what he does in his private life anymore. It was just that it really grated on me, because I've been one from the start. Where's Dak? Where's Dak? Where's Dak? Where's Dak? Where's Dak? Even at the bloody fans forum, fucking second question, and I was like, right, where's Bradley Dak? And Mark Bonner was like, oh, bloody hell, we're only second question in. But it's Bradley Dak, right? He's, for me, if he's fit and he's playing, he's the best midfielder, attacking midfielder in this division by a country mile. But it's that enigmatic thing of when does he play? Does he play all the time? Can we do this? Can we do that with him? I just feel that he needs to now knuckle down. Okay, injuries are unfortunate, but if we can keep him fit, I would definitely keep him. But talking about another midfielder who's a bit of a maestro, I went for Johnny Williams. He's an absolute machine in that midfield. He kept everything ticking. He was running after everything. He wanted to get the ball all the time. And okay, he came on as a sub on Friday, but when he starts, and it's not just this game, he did it a couple of weeks ago when we played Colchester, and he was just absolutely everywhere. He was a machine. He's like that maestro, like Iniesta type player. We're not going to go as far as saying he's Iniesta, right? But he is that.
That's what they call him, Johnny Esther, isn't it?
Huh?
That's why they call him Johnny Esther.
Johnny Esther, there we go. That's what he should have on the back of his shirt next season. But he is that like maestro type player that I feel that makes everything work, and everything seemed to come through him all the time. And he just, for me, where's that Johnny Williams been? Because that, for me, is the Johnny Williams that we signed the summer before last that we've not seen. And I would love to see that more often, because with him ticking over the midfield alongside maybe Imani Little or Robbie McKenzie, or even pushing higher into the 10, and I just think that it's going to be a brilliant thing for Gillingham. It's going to be a brilliant thing for the fans. And yeah, long may it continue with Johnny. I think he's got another year left, I've been told. I'd keep him 100% in the summer. 100%.
This is where the discussion takes a turn, though, because Johnny Williams I would consider luxury player. Bradley Dack I consider luxury player. They're both very similar types of player, and we're not gonna get the best out of both of them over a long run, because like Johnny Williams has his fitness issues, Bradley Dack has had his injury issues, and also fitness as well. And do you think we'll reach a stage where we think we can only keep one?
I don't know. I'd like to think that we have enough about us, enough clout to keep both. But then again, there is a year left on Johnny's contract, whereas Bradley's out of contract. So is it a case of is it going to be value for money to keep Dacky around? As much as it's nice and the sentiment's there, and he's doing okay for it, he's not setting the world alight by no means. And I think a lot of people got carried away when he scored that 95th minute goal last weekend. Yeah, because it's like, oh, Bradley Dack's returned. No, he scored a 95th minute goal. Fair enough, he scored. But is he actually going to be that player that we need in the middle? You can't deny the actual ability that he's got, but is that going to translate into games for us next season? Because it definitely hasn't this season. And I mean no disrespect when I say that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that it's just unfortunate that we've got like what I consider two luxury players playing pretty much in the same position. If they were two different positions, I'd say, if we've got the clout, absolutely do it. Because there's like space for them both to coexist. I mean, I suppose like today showed that Dacky and Williams like starting, does have a place. But over a sort of like the course of a season or something like that, will we get the best out of both of them if we have both of them around? I'm not sure. Or is that money better spent? And we know that when our forward problems, our striker problems, like when it comes to goals, is because like we've the striker position is one that you cannot cheap out on. It's the one position that you cannot cheap out on if you want that success. And that's what you've got to go for. Is that money better spent, supporting a striker that has a great track record, not just one season, over a course of several seasons? A bit like the ambition that we had if we were in for Alfie May kind of thing, way back, something, matching that kind of level of ambition. I think, you're going to have to put that money towards something else. It's, I think that's the way that you need to go.
I think as far as goal scorers are concerned, though, there has to be chances created. And if you look at the stats and the figures this season, has Johnny Williams done enough in terms of goals and assists for a number 10 in a successful team that want to get promoted? Are the figures of either Dack or Williams good enough? This season,
we haven't seen enough of them, though. This is the problem. We've not seen enough of them. To support like arguments for or against. They're not going to be able to make their case if they're not on the field.
Yeah.
Can I put a question to you three? Obviously, a few weeks ago, Chris, you did the show where you and the guests went through the out of contract players. Do you think if you did that now, you'd be saying the same outcomes? And do we need to be very careful and remember that these players massively underperformed at the start of the season, and it could be a new manager bounce that's got them playing when it comes to the contracts? Or have you seen anything from the ones that are out of contract you thought, right now I want to keep that player, and then by doing that, do we potentially cause ourselves problems down the line with Ainsworth saying he wants a small squad, that he's already going to have quite a lot of players and potentially some under contract? Like he doesn't like Jack Nolan as well. And I don't think from the minutes Jaden Clark's getting there, it doesn't look like Jaden Clark's impressed him. No. And I would think Nolan's on a fair contract. So I can't see them paying him off. Whether they can get him out on loan or something next season, it's just what has your mind changed on players that you thought, oh, I hope they go, that we may keep? And do we have to be careful and remember that these players have got us into the position where we have been this season?
Yeah. I'll pick that up first because there's quite a lot of questions in one question there. But I don't think my mind's changed currently. I don't think it has. I think we're riding on a crest of a wave because we've won today. So okay, everything's all brightness and light, but we do have to remember the previous games. I don't think that at the moment would I keep Dak? No, I don't think that he's done enough. But I would like to see a full season out of Bradley Dak in a Gillingham shirt where he actually is fit. So I would keep him on that premise, I guess. I know others wouldn't. I think that if a fit Bradley Dak is the best player in this division still, hands down. And considering he's not played a lot, so match fitness comes into that. He's saying that he's fit. Yeah, okay, fair enough. You've been fit, mate. That's fine. But you haven't played. Therefore, your match fitness isn't 100%. I'm very torn with some of them. I think I would definitely keep. I don't know, actually. I'm not gonna put my neck out on that one just yet. I'm gonna get splinters on my arse and pass it over to Mike.
So in terms of players out of contract and things like, the thing is you talk about new manager bounce and everything like that. Bearing in mind we've had 3 managers this season, okay, and I wouldn't say that we got too much of a bounce out of Coleman when Coleman came in straight away, kind of thing. I'm more focused on how we're finishing the season rather than where we've come from. I think that is a more important factor than if we keep looking back to those those dark days of Bromley, etc. If we keep looking at that, then we're never going to sort of as fans progress our opinions, because we all think that they're going to be. We're just going to be held back, and I think the way that we're finishing up the season now, because I mean when Ainsworth was brought in, I thought it was a pointless exercise. I thought Coleman should have seen the season out. This is just full transparency, so that we could see where we were at the end of the season, whether Coleman would actually get the role going forwards, because he was starting to get a slight tune out of the team. He stopped the rot, which is something, and the current run of form that we're on started with the end of Coleman's tenure as well, so being unbeaten in 10. So that's what I keep looking at now. We're unbeaten in 10. We've got a couple of wins in there. We've got a load of draws in there as well, but there's still points on the boards, and that is ultimately loads better than where we were earlier on in the season.
And Rob, to answer David's question, mate, what were your thoughts on that? It's a good question, David.
I think I look at it from 2 points of view. We can sit here and we can say who we want to stay and who we want to go. I think there's players in that dressing room that they don't want to be at Gillingham. They want to leave. They're looking for a way out. And I think, Jack Nolan, I don't think he looks happy. I think he would jump at the chance to leave. So I can see him going in the summer. I'm with you on the Dak one. I'm still on the fence with that. I think the sentimental value of that and what he is capable of if he's fully fit is great, and it's always an asset. But how many games do you go get out of him in a season, compared to how much you're paying in wages? We do need a goal scorer, so that's going to take up a lot of money. So we're going to have to free up that money somewhere. So for me, I'd hope Ainsworth has got a plan. He's supported by the board, and they do some good business, because I think we need it.
Yeah, definitely. And before we do move on to our look ahead this week, Phil did actually give us another Phil's Thoughts this evening. So we will play that.
I thought there was a game of 2 halves. that was it. We went great in the first half. We allowed them to dominate us. But in the second, touch of class from Ducky and Joe. We got there. We got all 3 points. I'm going home a very happy man. Up the Gills.
And thank you very much, Phil, for that. And thanks for the lift home so I could get home in time to rush through all of these graphics this evening. So,
was that a Dole's microphone?
Was
that a Dole's microphone he had there?
I don't know. I think he's got the
It's
same
like
as me.
the smallest microphone in the world.
Yeah, it was quite loud, wasn't it? I think he's got the same as me. I've got these things that they clip onto your thing, and then it plugs into your phone, and then it's like a Bluetooth thing. So, yeah, yep. Still waiting to use those. So, Phil Catrick, if you're listening, I'm still waiting for my interview.
Shameless, absolutely
November. Oh, yeah. Anyway, boys, we will move on to Saturday's game, and we are facing the mighty Swindon at home. So we have drawn, 1, and they have 1-1, lost. So, David, I will go for you because there's not many D's in there this week. So go with you first, mate.
I know, how disappointing.
Only 3 Ds, Dave.
I know. But today was my last home game because I'm away next weekend. So we normally do well when I'm not there. So I would say we're gonna continue it on. It should be a really good game, looking at the form of both teams. So again, rather than going for the D's, I think it'd be a narrow victory. It could very well be another 1-0.
Yeah. Michael, yourself?
You got to give Holloway credit, as much as I hate to say it, for the way he's turned them around. Their latest form is pretty decent. It's going to be a tough game because Swindon have been scoring goals, and they certainly have the ability to punish us if we sort of slip up at the back, or if Ogie tries to turn into prime Maradona once again and end up getting caught out. If you're watching this, Ogie, stop doing it. It's not good for the heart rate, mate. You worry me every time you do it. So, I mean, I would go for a 1-1, but I would absolutely, of course, as it's against Swindon, I would absolutely love to smash them.
Yeah. Yeah, and Rob, yourself?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough game. Mike said they're scoring a lot of goals at the minute. Holloway's worked miracles there from where they were when he took over to now. Yeah. It's been quite remarkable. I think they're only 5 points off the playoffs. So if he'd gone in a bit earlier, they may well have made them. So it's going to be a tough game. You take a 1-0 all day, don't you? If we sat in now and said 1-0 Gills next week, we take it all day. But
I'd be 100% buzzing because I'm doing hospitality and Player of the Year next Saturday. So prawn sandwiches all round for me, I guess. Yeah.
They call you really early on Sunday morning. Call you really early on Sunday morning to see how you are.
Don't do that because I'm going to be dead to the world till about.
He'll only be drinking Bovril. Don't worry about it. He'll be fine.
I've set it out. This is how I'm going to do it, boys. I'm going to be drinking water and Coke during the day in hospitality, and then get on the double vodka and Cokes at night. So that'd be good. That'd be good. But it's a nice day. Like, the food's great, but also I do believe there are still tickets available for the Player of the Year. So if you do want to go, guys, then nothing's stopping you apart from finances, I guess.
And if anyone believes that that's what Chris is going to be drinking before the do, then yeah.
I get a funny feeling that that world famous Chumbawamba song will be going on when he's sort of like he's falling down, getting back up again.
Yeah,
drinks a whiskey drink, he drinks a vodka drink, he drinks a soda.
No,
he's going to be all over it.
Best behaviour.
And he's got to get the picture that we all want: Chris and Jack Nolan.
Chris and Jack Nolan. Yeah, we'll be getting smashed together, mate. There you go. Me and Jack Nolan on the Jaeger bombs. I'll be telling him how to cross a ball. No, I won't. No.
He'll cross you to the other side of the room.
Was it, to be fair, he probably would. He's about 15 years younger than me. I'm at the stage now, mate. I can't do fighting. I'm allergic to it. I come up with bumps and bruises. And I do want to just quickly touch on Jack Nolan because I didn't mention it when we were talking about the Cheltenham game. You know, like the way that he works that free kick for JJ Morgan. It was reminiscent of the exact same free kick that he took in pre-season against Watford when Ewan Williams scored. So there's a little nugget for you there. Don't know why that's relevant.
We're always going to get those positions, are we?
No.
That feels a long time ago, that friendly against Watford, didn't it? There was a lot of there was a buzz around the place, a lot of excitement, wasn't there? And
yeah,
it soon died, didn't it?
well, it took until October, but
yeah, but I think even when we was winning at the start of the season, the football wasn't great, and there were signs that it could go wrong at any moment. For me,
yeah.
We did the same under Harris, though, didn't we? Like, even though we were a shithouse in like 1-0 wins here, there, and everywhere, kind of thing. You know, we knew it wasn't sustainable, but all the time that it was working, kind of thing. I think most fans are very much, look, you know, the results are the things that really matter. Yeah, we're not playing the most attractive like brand of football, but you know, do we ever like, you know, we talk about identity. We're scrappers at the end of the day. We fight for the ball, like, you know, and we can take the chances when they come our way, kind of thing. Well, we used to be able to, but I know goal scoring has been a little bit, you know, in short supply this season. But, you know, that's something that we can always look towards for next season. Like, you know, the good news is that, you know, we're more solid at the back. There was that stage of like where we weren't scoring goals, but we're also a little bit leaky at the back as well. Yeah. But now we've shored that bit up, you know, going forwards, you know, that's the bit that we need to focus on. I mean, going back to what we said about the goalkeepers, I think we definitely need to get another goalkeeper in so that they can benefit from Glenn Morris's years of experience, whilst Glenn's still agile enough to sort of, you know, show, you know, the understudy how it's done, kind of thing. Even if he does start like next season, kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
The thing is, every keeper comes to the end of their run at some point, and we can't rely on Glenn forever, unfortunately.
So I'll give you guys a little bit of a nugget there. So the season that Harris got sacked, we had a really good start. Where the team that it fell apart against was Grimsby, right? We had a really good start this season, and guess who it fell apart against?
Grimsby.
So I'm going to put it down to Dave Artell and Grimsby, and I bloody hate you, Grimsby.
Yeah, so hopefully they go up in the playoffs then, and we are.
Yeah.
Or we just aim for a good start, but don't get manager of the month like we had the last two seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, Eddie Alcorn, like, you know, sorry, coming because like when we were on just before the Grimsby game, you know, Eddie said it as well. Like, you know, I said, well, we both said it, that Grimsby hasn't been a happy hunting ground for ages, kind of thing, and unfortunately, it's just coincided that that's where it all starts to go a bit wrong for us.
Well, it went wrong at home at Grimsby earlier on in the season. I think that was October, and then we played them in February, March time. That was when I went on the ME7 podcast and said that own goals don't count. But anyway, we move on from that, boys. Anyway, so we are, of course, sponsored by Stodhurst Used Car Sales and Service Station. If you need your car fixed or you want to buy a new second-hand car, then please feel free to get the guys there. We are also in partnership with the Gillingham FC Supporters Club. So to sign up, join today at gfcsc.co.uk. And I guess we'll talk about us a little bit. So we are now at, 611 followers. And I appreciate every single one of you for doing so. If you haven't yet, then please do. TVF10 or the View from the Medway Fancast. And the View from the Medway Fancast on YouTube. And the Facebook group is the View from the Medway. So, with that being said, boys, we have come to the end of the show. So, before we go, any housekeeping that anyone wants to discuss before we get off air? So, I'll go with you, David.
Nothing from me today.
All right, Rob?
No, nothing. Thank you.
And Mike?
Phil Catterick, get in touch with Chris.
Well, I would just like to thank Rob for coming on. Obviously, first time coming on, it can be quite daunting, but I think that you've done a really good job tonight, mate, and I really do appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
Was your door swinging? Was it a ghost or something? Because it was like really off.
No, it's one of the children, mate. Keep coming in.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair enough. Right, so that's it then. So we have 2 shows left after this, so we will be back on the 28th to review the Swindon game, and then we will be back on the following week. Will be a Tuesday. Because it will be our 1-year anniversary since me and Stuart Lewis and Luke Waters did a fan zone, which is quite cringy. So tune in for that, because I will be playing little clips of it, I guess, to mug myself right off.
It'll show how far you've come, Chris. It'll show how far you've come, mate.
Oh, yeah, hopefully. But yeah, anyway, wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Up the Jills. He's been Mike. He's been Rob. He's been David. Goodbye.